Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trello. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals, and we'll talk about the NHL Finals as well because they are now set. We'll talk Browns, Cavs, and Guardians, and all that. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Which two teams played in the NBA Finals in 2011? I will have the answer later in the podcast. Well, Game two of the NBA Finals between the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics is tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and that will be on ABC. That will be on, I believe, that will be on ABC. Yes, it will be on ABC tomorrow. And the Mavericks, they're going to need to play hard to bounce back from that loss in Game one on Thursday. And it's a and And they will really need to. And so will Kyrie Irving and all. They got some of the best players on their team. And the Dallas Mavericks have proved to be a dangerous team when they're facing an 0-1 deficit in a playoff series. They have a lot of practice. The Mavs 107-89 loss to the Boston Celtics in Game One of the NBA Finals marked the sixth time Dallas has dropped the opener in a seven-game series under coach Jason Kidd. Now, Boston has recovered to win five of the previous six series despite falling behind, including the first two rounds of the postseason against the LA Clippers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, by contrast, the rest of the NBA is 9:30 in Game Twos after 9-30 in Game Twos after losing the series opener over the last three postseasons, according to ESPN stats and information. Now, keep this in mind. There is no panic with this group. Mavs coach Jason Kidd said after Saturday's practice on the eve of Game 2, we didn't play well in Game 1. Give credit to Boston. They did it, but it's a series. It is a series, excuse me. We just don't look or capitalize on just one game. We've lost. Game one, a lot of times, we responded. We believe that we can respond in game two. Now, the Mavs became the first team in NBA history to trail by at least 25 points in the opener of three series in the same postseason, according to ESPN stats and information. Dallas bounced back from double-digit losses in their game ones against the Clippers and Thunder evening the series, excuse me, with a road win in the next game. The Celtics are well aware of their opponent's history of responding to a series opening setbacks. They came back in game two, so we're going to have to get forceful, more aggressive team on Sunday. Celtics forward Jaylen Brown said comments that were echoed by his co-star Jason Tatum. We've got to be ready because they're really good after a loss, so we can't be surprised. That's what I'm preparing for. My team for, excuse me. Mavs superstar Luka Doncic is, in particular, has a tremendous track record in game twos, and immediately after a playoff loss. Doncic has averaged 33.9 points in game twos. It's the highest scoring average in game twos in NBA history. Minimum 5 games, 6/10 of a point higher than Michael Jordan. Doncic has averaged 34.3 points per game immediately following a loss in a playoff series. That is the highest scoring average in NBA history in those situations. Minimum is 10 games, a point higher than Michael Jordan. Dominic finished game one with 30 points, excuse me, on 12 of 26 shooting, but a playoff career low, only one assist. Kidd encouraged Doncic to take the layups if the Celtics continue to prioritize preventing him from the alley oops and passes to corner 3-point shooters off his drives. I think just be a little more aggressive, Donick said. I think we'll all come out for the game with a little energy. So I think we will have to be better with our energy, especially from the start. So, and I agree with that. And the Mavericks will have to have a lot more energy for game two tomorrow night, and they will need to take game two, which I think, and hope they will. And game two is uh, at 8 o'clock on ABC, and hopefully the Mavericks can even up the series at one apiece. So we are going to we will and we're going to talk about the Guardians for just a sec. They lost 3-2 to the Marlins last night, but right now they are up at the end of the seventh inning. They're up 8-0 at the end of the seventh, beating them, shutting out the Marlins right now with 2 innings to go, and right now. And Blake Lively was the starting pitcher. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, struck out 1 batter. And then Sam Hedges just came in. The bullpen went to work. Sam Hedges just came in. He went 1 inning and struck out 2 batters. And I gotta see. Pedro Avila is on the mound for the Guardians right now. He's gone an inning. He's had 2 beans at bat, but has struck out 2 batters. So and so I gotta tell you, this is one game I think the Guardians will get the win tonight. So and so we'll see if the Guardians can hold on. It's now on the top of the eighth, which means the Guardians are coming to bat because it's in Miami, and they're up 8-0. We'll see if they can tack on some runs. 8-0, top of the eighth. We will talk about the Cavs in just a moment, but right now it is time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Which two teams played in the NBA Finals in 2011 and 2011? And if you said the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat, you are correct. The Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat, while the Lakers and Celtics have probably played each other in the finals several times, this wasn't their year in either case. However, they did in both 2008 and 2009 with each team winning the championship once. The 2010-2011 season pitted Dallas and the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat, which was a repeat of the 2006 NBA Finals. So I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for. We're going to talk about the Cavs right now. We're going to move on to the Cavs. This past week, the coaching search for the Cavs is underway. They were going to, and they got permission. They're adding Micah Nori to the Cleveland Cavaliers coaching candidate as first reported by ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. they have received permission to interview the 50-year-old Nori for their vacant coaching job. Nori is the fifth known candidate for the job, joining Kenny Atkinson, the Warriors assistant, James Borrego, Pelicans assistant, Chris Quinn, who I do believe was the Nuggets assistant head coach, and Johnny Bryant. Nori is the Minnesota Timberwolves assistant head coach. Nori became known to the broader basketball public when he took over. He took over the this postseason when he sat in front of the bench, sat front of bench after Wolves head coach Chris Finch suffered a ruptured patella tendon that required surgery and took him off his feet. Nori has been with the Wolves since 2021 and has also worked for the Toronto Raptors, Sacramento Kings, the Detroit Pistons, and Denver Nuggets. During this coaching cycle, Nori has interviewed for the Los Angeles Lakers job, which the Wolves, Nori was described as the basketball equivalent of a bench coach in baseball. He gets nothing but praise from the elite players he's worked with, including Anthony Edwards with the Wolves and Nikola Jovic in Denver. Micah is going to make a great head coach when some smart team hires him. Wolves president of basketball operations, Tim Connolly, said in May, the whole staff is really connected, and I think Finch empowers these guys, so it's a collective. Uh, and and so it's going to be a long process, and it really and I really feel they're going to really take their time in picking a head coach for this past team for this upcoming season. Uh, and and they cannot talk to Donovan Mitchell until July 1st after the NBA draft because they still don't know if he is going to sign the uh, extension contract. Uh, and I just got, and it's yeah, a little more captures. I'm going to throw some. I'm going to let you know of. It says NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers may be among the first to pick up the phone if the Miami Heat opt to explore destinations for star Jimmy Butler, according to one NBA insider. The Philadelphia Inquirer's Keith Pompey suggested a Butler Donovan Mitchell team up, assuming the Heat's front office is unwilling to pay the forward a maximum extension. this is just me talking. I don't ask anybody questions or anything like that. But the one team that if they were willing to trade Jimmy, I don't know. I don't know if they are. The one team I would pay attention to is the Cleveland Cavaliers, Pompey said, because Rich Paul said if you give Donovan Mitchell an extension, then you know they probably want to get Darius Garland out of there. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Now that's what the reports are saying, but I think right now it's up to Cleveland to make a decision. But to me, I don't know if Jimmy Butler would want to go there. I don't know about that. So we're gonna have to really keep that and to really keep an eye on that. Most are assuming Mitchell would join the Heat due to his ties with center Ben uh, Adebo, but Butler joining the Cavs is an undiscussed route, pairing two of the league's top playoff risers. Undoubtedly passes a strong threat in the Eastern Conference, even against the Boston Celtics. Butler averaged 26.9 points and 6.5 rebounds in the Heat's 2023 finals run, while Mitchell hauled the Cavs to round two of the playoffs, averaging 29.6 points on 47.6% shooting. New Orleans, the Pelicans, Pompey suggested, as another landing spot. You know, the Pelicans are sort of shopping Brandon Ingram right. Right. You look at Chicago, they have a guy like Zach Levine, but I don't know if that's a route Miami would want to go to. But those teams at least have immediate help. Anthony uh, Passiola works as a contributing writer to Inside the Heat, and he can be reached at uh, ampassiola at gmail.com or check out his TikTok at am at Pastiola. Follow all of your Miami as for Miami, and so I just wanted to let you know about that. But we don't know if that's going to happen yet, so we'll keep an eye on it. But don't think it's going to. But don't assume it's going to happen just yet. I just wanted to make you note of that. Right now, we're going to talk about the Browns. Right now, the Cleveland Browns have signed head coach Kevin Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry to contract extensions to the team. The team announced Wednesday retaining the decision making duo that has guided the franchise uh, since the 2020 season. The lengths of the new deals were not announced, and Stefanski and Berry, the Browns have found the coach and GM pairing the franchise has longed for since returning to the NFL in 1999. Since 2020, the Browns have the highest winning percentage, 552 for the team over a 4-year stretch, 1986, such 1986 to 1989. During the NFL's league meetings in Orlando, Florida in March, Browns owners Jimmy and Dee Haslam said they were close to signing Stefanski and Berry to extensions. We are incredibly fortunate to have Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry leading the Cleveland Browns. The Haslam said in a statement. Since the day they were hired, each has worked tirelessly to help the Cleveland Browns win. We are proud of what they and the team have achieved, but Kevin and Andrew would like to be the first to say that fans deserve uh, even more. Their leadership, collaborative approach, and ability to overcome obstacles bode well for the future of this franchise. Last season uh, was a prime example. Despite facing multiple player injuries and using 5 different starting quarterbacks, Andrew and his staff built a roster that adapted well, while Kevin and his staff led the team to its second playoff appearance in 4 years, earning Coach Kevin Stefanski Coach of the Year honors for the second time in that period. They are two of the brightest people we know and selfless people who only care about what is best for the Cleveland Browns, we are thrilled that Kevin and Andrew will remain with the team for the future. Since 2020, the Browns have a 37-30 record in the regular season and have reached the playoffs twice in 2020. And then in 2023, this past season, Stefanski got Cleveland to the postseason despite myriad injuries to multiple key players, including season-ending injuries to quarterback Deshaun Watson and running back Nick Chubb. Stefanski received AP Coach of the Year honors in 2020 and 2023. Barry has executed several shrewd moves to acquire the talent, including getting wide receiver Amari Cooper for a 2021 fifth round pick and pick swap. But the tenure for him and Stefanski will ultimately be judged by the play of Watson after the team packaged 3 first round picks to trade for him, but before the 2022 season, the franchise subsequently gave Watson a 5-year contract extension worth an NFL record $230 million, fully guaranteed. Watson has only played in 12 games, keep in mind, with the Browns because of last year's injuries, shoulder surgery, and injury, and his 2022 suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy after more than 24 women accused him of sexual assault and inappropriate conduct during massage sessions. Watson, a 3-year Pro Bowl selection during his first 4 seasons with the Houston Texans, has posted a 41.9 QBR since making his debut with the Browns, the 6th worst mark in that time. Watson has been throwing on a limited, throwing every other day. He has been limited in OTAs, as adheres to rehab. Barry's rehab plan, Barry said he expects Watson to be ready for the season opener, and he will have to produce, and I think he will, hopefully. But if he struggles, they may replace him. And they do have Jameis Winston as a backup for him. So keep that in mind. And I just want to let everybody know the Browns signed former third Buckeye draft pick. I think they signed him today officially. And it was at one point that the Cleveland Browns refused to draft players from the Ohio State University Buckeyes for those prospects. Many of them turned out to be great NFL players. I-71 was closed. That was changed recently. Quarterback Denzel Washington and defensive tackle Tommy Togill and offensive linebacker DeJuan Jones and offensive lineman DeJuan Jones, offensive lineman Luke Whippler, and defensive tackle Michael Hall Jr. being selected in recent NFL drafts. With OTAs finished up, the Browns signed Hall to his rookie contract on Friday. So it was I think it might have been a perfect time for GM Andrew Berry to keep this team's roster the way it is in OTAs. That hasn't been his MO since taking over the team. Friday in Cleveland added another Buckeye and offensive lineman Wyatt Davis. So Davis was selected in the 3rd round of the draft by the Minnesota Vikings, but only appeared in 6 games for the team. In 2022, Davis played 1 game for 3 different teams and missed 2023 due to an injury. The 6'4" interior lineman has dealt with injuries since his time at Ohio State and is the son of Hall of Famer Willie Davis. To make room for Davis, the Browns waived defensive tackle Jaden Peavy The 6 foot 5 lineman was undrafted in 2022 and played in 2 games in 2 seasons. So that was good that they have signed him to the contract. And I want to just briefly mention that the NHL Finals, and actually before I do that, I do have a collectibles segment, so I will do that. And I do have one thing I want to show you. And this is something I have kept. This was my father's before he had passed away. This is the kind of the team history of former Browns quarterback. He was with Dallas and Miami, number 19, Bernie Kosar. As I said, I was going to show it as a collectible on one of my segments, so I'm doing it today. Uh, he was a quarterback, and it says where he played, University of Miami, 1983-84, with the Browns from 85 to 93, Dallas in 93 for one season, and Miami from 94 to 96. And he was an Orange Bowl MVP, leading the Hurricanes to the NCAA national title. And he was an All American in '84. He holds the NFL record passes. It gives all of that. And he's been in the playoffs. And this just gives all the stats. And if you have something like this, check with a collector or go online, check with a collector online to see how much this is worth. Because I know this is going to be worth something someday. It's worth a lot of money right now, as a matter of fact. So check with your collector. That's collectibles. Now we'll briefly mention the NHL finals because the Stanley Cup finals are set. Uh, and so and it is going to be the the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. That's who it's going to be. And I think I think and the right now in game one, the Panthers are leading 2-0. So we'll see what happens, and you can watch that. I think it's on ESPN. So we'll see what happens if which team takes it. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. I'll be back later this week with another this next week with another podcast or this next weekend, but hopefully later this week. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.